Here are 5 things you need to do to become a great basketball player. Number one is get a lot of shots up every day and work in dribbling and ball handling. This is going to take at least 2 hours a day, 2.5 hours, something like that. You're looking at 500 shots a day. You've got to get 500 shots a day. This can include some form shots, some free throws, like 25, 50 form shots, and then maybe 100 free throws. But the rest of the stuff is mostly game speed. You might do a set or two, a warm up and a cool down with just some kind of, tossing yourself the ball and shooting some jump shots. But then you really got to go hard. You want to work in layups and floaters. And if you're really dedicated, you're looking at 600, 700 shots. So that's number one. You just have to develop your skill. You're like, a lot of you are like going into sword fights and you've never actually practiced sword fighting. You've just kind of played around a little bit, played in pickup games. But as you know, if you've ever watched any movie or you've ever studied anybody who's done anything where skill is developed when you're off by yourself. The second thing you need to do is train your mind. And most athletes just don't train their mind. Their emotions all over the place. They get scared before a game. They don't want to play before a game because there's too much pressure. They disappear in crunch time. If they have a bad game, they're completely ruined. They go into prolonged slumps. Everybody's going to go into a slump, but they're just not mentally tough. But you can train mental toughness. That's what we do at Basketball Brain. So train mental toughness. The third thing is you got to be in great physical shape. Now, you can use the shots you're getting every day if you're rebounding for yourself to get some conditioning, but you also need to be flexible and strong. You need to watch your diet, right? You want to be, when you enter into a game, you want to be on every single level that's possible, peaking. That's what you want to have happen, okay? You want to be peaking. You want to be strong. You want to have more endurance. You want to, in the fourth quarter and overtime, you want to have better conditioning than your competition. Now, of course, some of you are a little insane. I get it. I'm sort of the same way. You got to make sure you don't run yourself into the ground. And I've talked about this for a very long time. One of the greatest things I ever did was starting to take one day a week off. Very hard for me to do, but I realized the hardest work I could do was take, let's say, Saturday off and rest, let my body recover, and it improved my game. Very hard to do, but I did it. So my streaks used to be every single day I'll do this too. 6 days a week I will do this. So my streaks became, instead of every single day, it was for 52 straight weeks. I worked out six days a week and had 1 day of rest. So you've got to rest. Something else you need to do is study film. You need to study your competition, study the X's and O's of the game. You should have an understanding of the game, an IQ of the game, like a very great coach like Eric Spoelstra or Phil Jackson. You should understand that part of the game. This also, I would say, includes studying your teammates. Like where do your teammates like the ball? What are their strengths and weaknesses? So you need to understand the X's and O's. And finally, I would say, and these last two kind of overlap, is at this point you want to have some analytics. So you want to have some numbers, some statistics, like know the spots you go to where you shoot the best. This helps you to get to those spots more during a game, but also tells you what to work on. So whenever you're doing your shooting drills, or you go back and you watch game films, or even if you film yourself in a pickup game, you want to go track your shots. It doesn't take long, you just fast track your shots, know where your weaknesses are, and then work on those weaknesses, and then know where your strengths are. There's nothing wrong with becoming like hyper good at a certain thing. Like Jordan wasn't launching 30-foot threes, and Steph's not going to the post and posting up. There are going to be certain skills you have that are like superpowers. Maximize those, and then make sure you still have a fadeaway, which Steph does. Make sure you still have a deep three or a three if you need it, which Jordan did, right? So you don't have any weaknesses, but you do have certain superpowers, and that's where you go. And that comes from studying your game, understanding your game, putting numbers behind your game. And sometimes you put numbers behind your game, like, oh, when I dribble left 2 times, I actually shoot 5% less. So what do? Well, you start dribbling left 2 times in your practice sessions when you're shooting, and you improve. And the last thing I'll say is, whenever you're doing your shooting drills, whenever you're on the court by yourself, or even when you're playing in a pickup game, really try to set your mind like it's a real game. Right? Make your mind believe that you're actually on the court for a real game. There's people in the stands. This helps to train the mind, gets the mind ready for the actual competition. It tricks the mind. Now, if you're somebody who just plays on the weekends, pretend you're playing an intense pickup game on the weekend and people are around watching. Whatever's the highest level of competition for you when you're practicing, imagine that's the environment you're in when you're getting your shots up. My name is Dylan. I run basketballbrain.com. Please like, share, and follow. Sorry, I'm in a classroom, and just wanted to make this video really quickly because somebody asked me a question about how do I improve, and this is the response. Peace.